Good evening, Thomas. How are you doing?
Hey, happy Thursday.
It is. Missed you last week. How was your trip?
It was the longest short trip ever. And as you can see, I turned right around and headed right back to Utah.
Yeah, I see the backdrop. That is the big arch. It's actually it's iconic for the
Yes,
city.
absolutely. Figured I'd join the family.
So it's warm there. Sun beating on you on your back.
It is. It's so warm. It is 83 degrees in my studio right now.
Well, I think we turned the AC off on accident here at the Airbnb, so it's about 83 degrees in mine as well. So,
oh gosh,
that's good. Well,
but no, we had a good trip. It was long. I will say. So we went to Ouray, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Ouray. Some people said Ouray, and then we got corrected and all that. But it is a beautiful, beautiful town. And what it's known for are its hiking trails and its like forest mountain crawling trails, right? Side by sides, UTVs, Jeeps with big wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go, I'll say this much. We went to someone chat said louder. Oh, maybe just saying, oh, I don't know. Does my mic sound okay?
It sounds good to me, but of course I'm not wearing headphones. This is the big ear reveal. I don't have any. They're flat because I've worn headphones for the last year and a half.
The big ear reveal. That's funny. So yeah, we made it up there, and what you do, you go a few miles on these trails that, they're technical routes with big humps and dips and rocks and boulders, and it's one way up and one way down. And there's tiny little turnouts every so often. So oncoming traffic, but if you're not around those areas, someone's got to back up quite a ways on these sketchy trails. And there's some where a foot to the right of your tire, it's like 2,000 feet straight down the mountain.
Is it he with the smallest tires has to turn around? Is there like an unwritten rule of the dirt road?
No, I already forget. There is protocol. I think it was those descending down have the right of way. So
Okay.
If you're going up, I could be wrong. Someone in chat will correct me, but I already forget because it was, I wanted to forget everything about it. It was 14 and a half hours there on Thursday.
Was it that bad? Wasn't that bad?
I'll never do it again.
That is a long time. We didn't do any drives that long on our trip.
It was tough. So I was in, I'm driving an F-250 pickup with an 18-foot flatbed car hauler with our Jeep on the back of it for 14 and a half hours. The last 2.5 hours are up and over all the passes, which are kind of like the roads I'm talking about, but they're actually paved and they're 2-lane, but there's like no guardrails. Yep. Those going down back. Okay. So perfect. Thanks, Gally May. And, so 14 and a half hours to get there. And then, the Airbnb is a treat. I'll get into that in a minute. Then the next day we wake up, grab some breakfast, and then you go to one of the trailheads you want to pick and you start to ascend the mountain. And so that was about 7 hours worth of just treacherous, you're going 4 miles an hour up this climbing. The scenery can't be beat. It's amazing. It's incredible. It was, we got a million pictures of it. The wildlife we saw was absolutely gorgeous. The stress was through the roof and I couldn't get down fast enough.
You're not a heights person, are you? I'm not a heights person either.
I'm not, but like I love roller coasters. And I think I could skydive, but certain things, no. I don't. I'm in a vehicle and I can't trust that like the tire just goes and then I'm dead because of that. So anyways, we made it down on day one, which was great. Again, the town is beautiful. We got a great cheeseburger there in town. Back to the Airbnb. And for context, this is my father-in-law, myself, my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law's 2 sons, so nephews. And so it's a little guy's trip. So back, relax, just sit on the patio for a little bit. And then day 2, it's the same thing, but we opted for the less stressful path. So much calmer roads, found a nice stream. My in-laws did a little fly fishing. I just sat and relaxed, and then wake up and 14 and a half hours right back home. So it was just nearly 30 hours round trip to be there for 2 days. It was
terrible. That
yeah,
is,
yeah. And a little food for thought out there that have any jokes or would like to poke at in-laws. I drove my father-in-law up there and back. So my brother-in-law lives up there. So 30 hours with just your father-in-law. Love him to death. My in-laws are actually fantastic. I can't even joke about it. But we've never been alone for more than 30 minutes in 9 years. So here's 30 hours.
It was a bit much.
That's a lot. It was, I was freaking out that it was really going to test the relationship or any sort of awkward moments or anything like that. I didn't have my wife as a buffer. Everyone has a friend, right, that you're great with and around, because there's that one middle friend who's always the anchor and who's always there. And when that friend gets up and leaves, and you're left with the other one, you go, so what are we going to talk about? That's
now what?
We've got
14 more hours.
Yeah. But it was great. He was great. The in-laws were good. We had a good time. We made some really cool memories. I love getting to see my nephews. The younger one, who's 17, amazing cook and chef. He made a couple meals that are fantastic. The younger one, it's incredibly smart. It reminds me of hearing about your kids. He knows how to do computer coding and all that stuff as a youngster, which is impressive. But the Airbnb.
Yeah.
So the picture, and I'm just going to put out there, I didn't book it, but the picture is this front of this beautiful house that's kind of cabin-esque, about 10 miles from the main town that we're visiting. Looks great. You get there. Well, you enter through the side yard gate to go down steps to the backyard and enter through a sliding glass door, which is like the basement. 2-bedroom, 1 bath for 5 guys.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was rough. So my father-in-law and I shared a room. He slept on a day bed in the room I was in, because he said he's used to those from the lake house. Brother-in-law had his own room. One of the nephews slept on the couch, and the other nephew, there was some spare single mattress in a closet. He pulled it out and slept on it in the living room floor. Yeah.
That's like a camp, like a hunting camp. That's not a Airbnb.
Correct. Yes. Wow. So it was that part. It was a journey. Glad to be back. And it's I tell you what, after that drive and how many hours we put in a short time, I don't want to drive more than like 30 minutes right now. You couldn't pay me to do it. I'm done.
I had to drive, I went to Park City today for the Corey Richards case, and it's where I was located on the Wasatch Front here in Utah. I could either go north up through Weber Canyon or south through what they call Immigration Canyon. And it was about a 2-minute difference depending on which way I went. And even though they're complete opposite directions, I had to get around the mountain. I could either go north 30 miles or south 30 miles. And that was basically my choice. But
is one prettier than the other?
Oh, they're both beautiful. The Weber Canyon, the road is in the very bottom of the canyon, and Immigration Canyon, you're going up and over the mountain. So it's a huge climb. I chose the up and over the mountain. I think I used like half a tank of gas getting that big Suburban up that hill. I was getting like 6 miles to the gallon for 20 minutes. It was bad. So
you didn't opt for a rental car like you were talking about potentially?
I went to get a rental car to my favorite. There's an Enterprise I've used here many, many times before. Okay. And I showed up and they're like, hey, what can I do for you? And I'm like, yeah, just Saturday. I'm like, what do you mean, like booked up? He's like, we don't have any cars. Oh, so why are you open? I mean, why are you here? Go home. You can't do a dang thing here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no car, and we ended up dropping the family off with family, and so they spent the day just chilling. I took the big beast up to Park City. I ran into Alita Lay up there, by the way, from our chat.
Awesome.
Alita was there. I may or may not have signed a shirt that she had. So, and I will tell you right now, I'm terrible at autographs, especially on clothing. I need somebody like stretch it out tight so I can draw on it like paper, because I put the pen down and it's just like, and it's like, well, sorry, I ruined your shirt. But she was good about it. And I also ran into Danny Direct up there.
Cool. I love that. How many recovery addict signatures do you think you've given out to this point? I know it's not a lot because you have audience all over the world. It's not like you're playing on a sports team when it's localized, but just kind of curious. 2. Where was your first one? Do you remember it?
I signed an RA sweatshirt hoodie that was auctioned off for Ian Runkle's charity fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
And I just gave one to Alita Lay. That was the second one. So I've had zero practice.
We got to get those numbers up. We got to do a meet.
I'm not good at it. I'm like, oh, please, can I punch a hole in it and call that my signature? Because I'd be better at that.
You got to practice.
Yeah.
Or like,
and the internet certificates. I guess we could count the internet certificates signatures as well. But
that's right. I love it. Speaking of gas, it's funny. Yeah, Roy's right. So obviously with our truck, we haul trailers and some tractors and whatnot every once in a while with the ranch work or what have you. But we use that truck on our yearly ski trip that I talk about on the show sometimes. But we don't have to haul anything, right? And as big as an engine that it is, it gets amazing mileage without towing or the extra weight, just our luggage. It's incredible. Obviously, it's got a huge tank too. Yeah. So going this far, but having that 18-foot trailer with the Jeep, did those numbers fall so fast, so fast. I think we average around 30 in that huge truck on the highway without towing. We were averaging 10.2, and our DEF, which for those of you who don't know, you have to put diesel exhaust fuel in diesel pickup trucks, part of laws and regulations and whatnot. We could go to Winter Park, Colorado and back, which is between 12 and 14 hours, and maybe use a half tank at the DEF. We had to fill up when we got there, and then we had to fill up when we got home on it. I mean, so towing in that thing, it felt like every 2 hours we were spending $120 on fuel. It was more than the Airbnb and our dinners and everything. Driving there and driving back, it was more expensive than everything else.
We're not running diesel, we're just running gasoline, but I've filled up as we crossed the country. I was paying about $308 in North Carolina, and it went up to about $356, down suddenly to $295, which it was great, but I only needed like a quarter tank to top off. So I got all I could. And then it's back up to around 340, 350 right now. So it's, but okay. I feel like I'm almost like wearing a hole in my pants, because my wallet is just like, oh, there's the wallet again. Oh, there's the wallet. Fill up the tank. Swipe that card. Here we go. So it's been
Swipe City. We hit a few stops where diesel, of course, because they know where they are. It's more remote and you're about to hit mountains and blah, 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 blah. So it's like $4.15 a gallon for diesel. A couple spots we hit, and it was painful. But if you sign my arm, I might get a tattoo. I love it. But yeah. So
I will tell you. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, you were doing what I was doing. My mic, I can't hear you. I can't hear me. Speaking of wallets, speaking of spending money, I guess we need to probably start the podcast now that we've caught up on our trips and how terrible they were to drive. I would say, as far as long trips go, I would say 3 out of 10 do not recommend is what I'd put it at. It's not unbearable, and spaced out enough. I'm cool with doing it again. But like today, I didn't want to drive even an hour. It's like, no, I've been in the car. And but sure. Okay, I'll do this. You do that.
Thank you, Amber.
Let me find my wallet and see where I hid those memberships.
Thank you, Mom. So, where Scott was going?
Week, yeah.
with that story, I forgot to, because we skipped a week, so it's hard to remember. So where Scott was going, where was this gentleman? He was a guy in Massachusetts. So he got done with a day of fishing. So he's wearing a fishing shirt, and so Scott, you're familiar with those, and a pair of board shorts. And so he hit the grocery store on his way home for the family, and he goes inside and he gets his groceries, loads everything up, and he heads on back to his car. And what he did, the little seat on the shopping cart where people put they're usually kiddos, or that's where I put our eggs. And well, he gets to his car, sets his wallet and his phone there so he can unload his groceries into his vehicle. And as he's doing such, a seagull comes down and snatches his wallet and takes off. So he's currently offering a reward for anyone in Massachusetts that finds his wallet that a seagull stole. And I hate to say it, but as soon as I read he's offering a reward, I thought that thing got dropped in the ocean. That thing's gone.
Or hang on, let me just say, because I have been around seagulls, it probably got eaten.
Or he ate the wallet
inside a seagull. Seagulls will eat almost anything, and it's amazing what they can swallow. They will eat anything that smells remotely like food. Like if you have like a burger from like McDonald's wrapped in the paper, they'll swallow the whole thing. They'll just and it's just 2 bites, and then they do this huge, like it's like a snake move where their cheeks just and then they try to fly and flap off. So I'm thinking the wallet's at like 250 feet soaring around the city. It'll probably kill the seagull, sadly. And then you've got to search all the dead seagulls for your wallet. But
that's right. Braxton says, AirTag your stuff. Man, Braxton, you're not kidding. I'm in the motorcycle community, and there's been so many posts lately in the state of Texas about people getting their motorcycle stolen, and all of them will say, hey, did you tag it? Did you tag it? And no. And there's been one, this is completely off topic, but Braxton, this is on you. So someone did tag their motorcycle, and they tracked it down. It was stolen from an apartment complex. Found out the owner of a tow company that has access to the gated parking, to yank vehicles that are illegally parked. It was a ring. He would go in, and they would steal certain vehicles and motorcycles and load them at a stash house to park them out or sell them. So the last bike they stole had a tag on it. They drove out there and they saw this mass of vehicles, and they called the police, and the police show up, and it was a ton of cars.
Solved like 150 crimes in one move.
And it was all because the owner of the tow company was behind it all. He paid off the security guard of the apartment complex of, hey, I'm going to be in at 11:30 tomorrow night, so make sure you're not around. Management is under scrutiny because the cameras used to show the gates, and they only went to stairwells or elevators. So no longer could you see vehicles coming in or out. It was a huge, huge, huge thing.
That's terrible.
Thank you, Jennifer. That is so correct.
I figured out how to gift memberships again. It's been a while. It's been over a month since I gifted membership. So I'm ready to give away 5.
Let's do it.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Do we have a drum roll?
I don't. I've got.
That's pretty good. I've got this one. It's almost like a drum roll.
You just have to.
There we go. Okay, here we go. First 5 going out right now. It says the gift has been announced on the live chat, and looks like it went to Jam Pots, Zen's the QTYT, Linda Cutshaw, Eddie Haxel, and Janet Ray. So let's do that again, because that was fun the first time. Let's see if it gets any better the second. Next 5 going now. 80s Music Man, or fingers crossed. Sierra Hartenstein, Birds in Flight, VT Hokey Gal, Janine Jen, and Old Kiwi Chick.
I love kiwis. I love kiwis.
All good people. All good people.
That's awesome. Amber, thanks for the reminder. We would not Absolutely would not have remembered as the show went on. There's no chance.
I barely remembered we had a podcast tonight. That's how things were going for me.
Oh, doing the math to figure out the timing of, hey, when did we go? It was easy for me because my time didn't change, but
yeah. I struggle with times and math in general. But so a seagull stealing your wallet is probably going to be one of the most unlucky things to ever have happen. I mean, that's like it's like one step above lightning striking you 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that poor guy. That poor guy.
He's like, really? I mean, that has to happen to me. But there are, on the other side of the spectrum, there are people who are very, very lucky.
Very lucky.
So much so that it's like, wow, could you believe it? And everyone's like, no, I couldn't. Switching to North Carolina for this one. A message inside a fortune cookie inspired someone, this North Carolina guy, to buy a lottery ticket.
Of course. Have you ever, well, you don't gamble at all.
I don't. No.
Have you ever done anything based on a fortune cookie? Like anything, not just gamble. Because they have the message and the backside has the numbers.
I'm trying to think what I've done with it. I would say yes. I mean, I'm not a complete stranger to the idea of gambling. I've been like, every time I get one of those little mailers in the mail that says, hey, this car dealership's giving away like a car, you scratch and see if you win.
Right.
You never win, but by law they have to have mailed a winning card. Okay. And these things are audited. So there's an actual card that goes out. You look at the odds of winning. Your odds of winning one of those car dealership specials are like 1 in 30,000.
Way better than lottery. Compare
that to the lottery. And it's like, I would much rather win something from the dealership. And the way they get you to go in is they basically make it look like your card's a winner no matter what, even though you only won like a $2 bill or a $1 bill or a $5 gift card or something. But every card is a winner to some amount. And you just have to be able to endure the shame of walking into the dealership and having zero interest in buying a car and be scrutinized by all the salespeople who know you're just there to get your $2 and then you're a winner. So I do play a little bit in that regard.
Fair enough.
But anyway, he got ate a fortune cookie. The message inside prompted him to buy a lottery ticket. The ticket was a winner. He picked up a $200,000 prize, and from a $5 pot of gold ticket.
And the message in the cookie is, don't miss out on your chance to win big.
Yeah. So he's probably going to frame that and put it up on the wall. I mean, maybe make an inspirational poster of that and put it up in the gas station where he bought the lottery ticket. But
it doesn't get any more black and white than that. Don't miss out on your opportunity to win big. Don't miss out
on your chance to win big. And then boom, he took it as a sign. Had to be fate. It was a scratch card. Won 200,000. He says, I started seeing 0, 0, 0, and I'm like, this has got to be a dream. But yeah, he's plans for it, because everyone has plans for what they're going to do with the money.
Fortune cookies.
Have some bills, and buy a boat for fishing, which is the good life. I have to say, you cannot fault him for wanting to spend time fishing, because time spent fishing cannot be deducted from a man's life. That's a rule.
No, the 2 best days of boat ownership are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Don't waste the money on a boat. Find a friend that has one. That's the advice I'd give the lottery guy. Rent
a boat.
Or rent a boat. Yes.
Yeah, you can't go wrong renting a boat. I'm having trouble with this is why I'm staring off the screen all the time. I have my studio here. Like, I'm in my studio, but it is not. Look,
but it's not your studio.
Plate of cheese, grapes.
Is there food sitting on your desk?
On the top of my computer? Yes.
That's an expensive coaster.
It's working though. It's keeping it nice and warm. So.
Oh, I tried that. So on the lottery kick, we've got one more, and the comment earlier was lottery strikes again. Indeed. So we got a second story. So there's a woman in South Carolina, instead of North Carolina this time. She goes to work, shows up. I forget how long she'd been there, years. Gets let go. You're fired. You got to go. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Bills, this, that, and the other, and what's going on. just a few days later, goes and grabs a lottery ticket. $300,000 winner just a few days after losing her job.
If this woman was my friend and she'd consulted me first, she would not have won that money. I would tell her, look, don't waste your money on a lottery ticket when you don't have a job.
You don't have income.
Thankfully, she's not my friend because she won.
She won and won big. And the only thing that I'm a little confused at now, of course, I do not know the living situation that she's in, but it states this will help with some financial relief, and I'm going to buy a house. If you don't have a job, I think I would hang on to every little bit of that, what, 205,000 after taxes that you have.
Yeah.
Until I have a job.
I might not make a huge purchase right off the bat.
No.
Maybe even consult a financial specialist that's familiar with, lottery winnings and things like that, because money that comes fast goes really fast as well.
Man, this is a blessing. I'm going to go ahead and take out a mortgage. I mean, wait, whoa, let's go get a job. But like I said, I don't know what her current living situation is or was, or how it panned out, or we don't know. Maybe, maybe the gal had a lot of money in savings, so it's actually not a huge issue. But the coincidence of getting let go and then winning was, I don't know why I feel like all lottery stories it's always this crazy chance, this happenstance that happens. Versus I read one earlier that was like not that great. It was because they buy like 5 lottery tickets a week at different gas stations, and for the last 20 years, and they stopped at a different station out of the routine and won. Yeah, I'm like, well, you've spent millions.
Just broke even today.
Yeah.
Oh
totally.
Man,
I can hear the door from the house into the garage continuing to open and close, back and forth, back and forth.
Do you want to run down and check on it?
No. I told them to send me a message when time is to go.
Maybe that's their message. Maybe like, we're slamming the door. He's got to hear this.
No, they're professional door slammers. So that's the norm.
That's the norm. Good. Well, tell me. You got to run. You got to run. From lottery winnings to a crazy story. This is wild. And I read this through just once, and I'm trying to read it again because I don't get it, honestly. We've stopped at some weird places to eat on the way over here. And we also stopped at some traditional places to eat where, I'm familiar with the menu and even the prices. And my card is familiar with their swipe machines. I mean, there are some stores that I frequent, and it's good. I've been to McDonald's a fair amount. One of my first jobs as a kid was working at McDonald's. I actually got to drive by the McDonald's and tell my kids about it recently. But partners Cassidy and James, who are on TikTok under the name Cassidy_and_James, they had a opportunity to go out and get a meal with dead bodies.
Well, skeletons.
Yeah, that's what the dead body is. It's just, if you leave it long enough, it's just a skeleton. Went to Rome, Italy. There's an absolute skeleton in McDonald's, Cassidy says on TikTok. She goes viral. She's in the lobby, and it's like, this one's real. This is not. Why has nobody outed Mickey D's in Rome, Italy until now for having dead people in their lobby?
I don't know why the story's not bigger. So there's some history behind this of why, and it's the restaurant provides customers with unique dining experience.
Very
over a 2,000-year-old road underneath established. So it's in this area that at a point in time, the historic site, after construction workers found hidden path that had become a burial site in 2014. So it's this big giant burial site on that side of the town that they tried to just pave over, cover up, and grow. But things are starting to be exposed over time, and they're showing themselves. And one of those is a skeleton in McDonald's.
So any other civilized country in the world, if you're doing an expansion and you find a burial site, they halt production. Okay, they like in the United States, they bring out like all sorts of historians, archaeologists. They start analyzing everything. I mean, it's like at least a year and a half wait. It's like, well, you can return all the rental excavation equipment because we're not going to need it for at least another year or two. And they put a full halt. They're trying to decide if it's Native American, if it's old, recent, if it's a crime scene, all these things. McDonald's, they're like, bodies. Let's build a glass floor so you can see them.
So you can see under you.
You're standing in line. You're like, the guy in front of me is taking along. Oh, look, there's old King James. How's it going, James?
And like Tisha says, I'll take a McFemur, followed up real quick by 6 volt or McRib.
Yeah, the McRib is back.
The McRib is back. Oh
man, I'm not sure.
So wild.
I'm not sure if I could do that. I tell a joke to my kids. I always tease my kids, and I ask them every time we go swimming. I'll say, "What's your number for dead bodies for swimming pool? How many are you cool with if we go swimming? There's a body in the pool, or how many is just fine by you?" And they're horrified, right? And they're like, "None, of course none." I'm like, "Yeah, but really, it's really just like a gallons to bodies ratio, right? Because we swam in the ocean, we know there's bodies in the ocean." Like, oh, okay, if we, we can't see those ones. I'm like, oh, okay, so if the water's a little cloudy, we're good. It doesn't matter, just keep them in the deep end. But it's a joke. It's a joke, and I just like to tease them that way. But once it comes to eating my food, I don't think my number is 0. It's like I'd rather not look at any corpses while I'm eating something that's probably going to kill me anyway.
I'm stuck on the activity you said you do with your children.
Yes, I do.
Do you want to go swimming in a pool with dead bodies? Yes or no?
The answer is no. Nobody wants to go swimming in a pool with dead bodies, right? That's the basis. But look how many people swim in the ocean, and we know the Titanic sank, right? We know the Titanic sank, and there are bodies down there, and so we're cool with that. And so it's just a question of is it distance? Is it gallons per body? I just like to wind them up a little bit. It's a tease sort of thing, but is that just too morbid? I know the news is very bad, poor timing considering today's news, but
that's terrible.
Thomas is no longer my podcast partner.
I don't even know what I just listened to.
It's a little bit of a morbid sense of humor.
Is it distance or gallons per body? Is a legit ratio you guys are contemplating? Do you have a pool by your Airbnb? I know there's a nice park and volleyball.
We've got a hot tub. I have not checked it yet for bodies, but the cover's on, so I think we're good. They're going swimming tomorrow. Not in our pool. There's a community pool.
What? Okay, I'm going to blow on by that one real quick. Since we were on with McDonald's and bodies, but we're off of bodies. This was just a funny stat. And we go ahead and say pickles, not politics. I don't want this to turn into a big economical debate. I just thought it was a different stat because I know a lot of people don't eat fast food, but some do, and sometimes they have to or whatever. But McDonald's prices from 2014 to 2024. Yes. Yes, it was very much so.
I thought your connection was bad. I just kept going with it. I didn't realize you were horrified at what I was saying.
Completely stuck. Prices. This is crazy. And so I'm guilty as charged. I will grab some fast food. We've talked about it before. Jack in the Box tacos, which are terrible for you. I really enjoy them. And the spicy chicken sandwich. Wendy's has some good stuff.
Spicy chicken almost anywhere has got me won over.
Amen. Preach. Yes. So just out of doing the research and seeing it, all fast food has gone up. Everything has gone up, but it's crazy to see how much. This one is McDonald's specific. And so the McChicken sandwich, 2014, 99 cents. Fast forward to today, $2.99.
$2. That's tripled.
199% markup. The McDouble was, I'm going to have to get off the mic here.
I remember buying Big Macs at McDonald's. They had a special on Tuesdays. It was 2 for $2. You get 2 Big Macs for $2. I'm not that old. I mean, yes, that was a long time ago, but we're talking 19 maybe what 95. I was in high school when that happened.
Okay, yeah, the dollar menu was the thing. You've got the McDouble, $1.19 to now $3.19. A medium French fry, $1.59, now $3.79 for a medium French fry. You know that cost them a quarter.
You know what got cheaper? I think the drinks got cheaper at McDonald's because you can now get the big drink for the small drink price, right? Because all the drinks are the same price. Like everything's like a buck something.
Could be because it's not on here. How about the quarter pounder with cheese meal? $5.39. Now $11.99. It's insane.
Ooh.
A McFlurry, assuming the machine's not broken.
It's always broken. Nobody's ever had a McFlurry.
I haven't had one since 2014. Actually, it's $2.39 to $4.50. 10-piece McNugget meal went from $5.99 to $10.99, and a 4-piece McNugget Happy Meal went from $2.99 to $4.99. Just exploded.
And the toy is no better than it was back then.
Worse.
Anything they've gotten less playable with. I mean, we got a toy in I think it was a Wendy's Happy Meal. It was like it looked like a big fat crayon. Like, oh, I could use this crayon and color like a mile on the sidewalk. And no, it was plastic, and you open it up. It's like instructions on how to use a real crayon if you ever find one. It's like, what are you supposed to do with this? It was just like a fake crayon you can't even color with.
Everything's weird. Everything's gone down. Not everything. There's some things that are better out there. I can't name them, but I'll think about them and then I'll bring them up. But
chat, help us out. The food prices were gradual. They get you slowly because they change the menu and they introduce something else, and they like it's sneaky that way. But the thing that stood out to me as I've gotten older and bigger and eaten more junk food is that a lot of the packages of junk food that I got as a kid cost the same or more as I did as a kid, and the packaging is smaller. Like look at Oreos. When I was a kid, you had needed both arms to carry an Oreo package. There was just so many cookies in it.
Yeah.
And now you get like the super double deluxe to share party size, and it's like, well, that'll feed 3 of us. Well, what are the rest of you gonna have? It's just there's just not as much there.
100%. Yeah. I see a lot of pictures on Twitter of people posting, especially with condiments, where the things, and it'll show the bottle size and everything, but it'll show, 1.7 fluid ounces, and then it actually says just 1 and it's $1 more or something like that. But yeah, it's wild. But so speaking of expenses and money, it reminds me of something I heard, and I actually really like this one. And it's, so you've got 2 options, right? That's what's important. One is you spend the rest of your life with the person you love, or 2, you get a credit card with no fees, no interest, and you never have to pay it back for lifetime. So which one do you choose?
A?
Visa or MasterCard?
Nope, I'm not.
Yeah, it's a bait and switch. You don't see it coming until it gets out there.
That is terrible.
It's so bad. Oh, it was my wife and I were coming home last night. We had to run an errand, and it was a radio commercial. And I went, that's going to be shared.
That was the commercial? That was what it said?
It was a commercial on the radio.
What were they advertising?
Don't even know. I didn't even pay attention. We just heard it, and we both looked at each other, like obviously each other. And then the lady in the radio went, Visa or MasterCard, and then we just died laughing. It was dark.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah,
I'm fine telling dark dead bodies in the pool stories, but yeah, that would get me a long walk home back to North Carolina if I played that joke. I cannot go there.
You could charter a private jet with Visa or MasterCard.
Not gonna happen. No, we try to teach our kids to avoid debt.
Smart.
And it's like, because we tell them it's all about interest, right? And if you're smart, you earn interest And if you get caught in the credit trap, you end up paying interest. And it can just snowball. And sometimes,
but you have to have a little,
so
you have to carry a little bit of debt, right, to build credit.
Yeah. Unless you just go hardcore and say we don't pay credit, we don't credit for anything.
Well, then, yeah.
There's a point where if you have a bank account with enough in reserve, that the bank will give you a card without any existing credit, because they basically already have your money.
That's true.
So
yeah, they have collateral,
and you can also get some prepaid cards and things to do that. But yeah.
Oh, that's a great
tough.
point.
I was driving around looking at the houses that we're living in. Right, this house here that we're renting for Airbnb is ridiculous. It's just shy of 800,000 something. I'm like, that's an expensive house for me. That's way up there.
Yeah.
10 years ago, this house would have been 250,000.
And
it's just exploded. And we can afford it for 1 month. That's
we actually, that's funny you say that. We pulled up our Airbnb there in Colorado, where I told you where we only were allowed to live in the basement, basically. The upstairs, I'm sure it was a nice house, but judging by the neighborhood and everything else, what we put into Zillow and saw what the house sold for in 2021, mind blown. $1.2 million that house sold for 3 years ago. There's no way the upstairs had to be 500,000 times nicer than the basement to be worth $1.2 million.
Oh man.
It was insane. It's crazy. And I look at the homes where I was raised. I moved when I was 17 years old, but out in San Diego, and it's the memes on the internet are hilarious. They show, an outhouse with like a deck on it that's by the beach, and it was like currently available for $1.5 million if you want it. It's a true story.
And you call and you're like, sorry, you're too late.
It's already sold.
10 offers. They were all higher than the asking price. Yeah.
It's wild, but they're so a lot of people are starting to what are they? Other means of income, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that work multiple jobs. There's others that what do you call it? Passive income is a thing for some, and then others just find something and just dive headfirst right into it, including a lady who I don't remember the state, but she full on decided to dedicate herself to dumpster diving.
I love this.
I figured, with being a recovery addict of artifacts and metal detecting and whatnot. And
there's a niche community on YouTube all about dumpster diving.
Is it really?
Yes, you type in dumpster diving. There's a guy named Mike that goes around and he just grabs. Mostly he's getting like scrap metal, right?
Yeah.
But then he'll find things that are like brand new, thrown out in the package, still wrapped, sealed. It's just the store had new inventory came in. They had to clear out the old, and they just threw it out. And depending on the laws, sometimes in some states, as soon as you put it in the garbage where it's able to be picked up by the garbage man, so either it's in the location where the truck comes and picks it up, or it's out by the street, it's literally fair game and it's legal for somebody to come and take it. I mean, the garbage man was going to take it, and now somebody else can come and take it as long as they don't leave a mess and things like that. It's legal. So depending on the state, dumpster diving is like a legitimate hobby.
Another
for those with a strong nose.
One man's treasure. Another man's treasure. Tiffany Butler, 34, revealed she makes over $76,000 a year by diving dumpsters. She finds tons of things and resells them of quality. Obviously, she finds a lot of stuff that has no value at all, sifting through the garbage, but she'll find discarded tennis shoes is a big video that she posted with like dozens of pairs of New Balance tennis shoes that were like brand new. So she snatched all them and then posts them online and sells them. $76,000 a year by combing through dumpsters and reselling. Now, that has to be hard work. Besides the nastiness, the grit, the smell, and that of being in a dumpster, depending what's in there. Pretend the dumpsters she's diving in are clean, no big deal. That's still a lot of work, in my opinion.
It's a ton of work. I've never done dumpster dived as far as like a hobby. But
Only
I have
profession.
thrift shopped, and thrift shop's a step above because people take stuff to the thrift shop that they should have put in the dumpster. Right. And so you're sorting through the same garbage. It's just on a shelf instead of in somebody's garbage can.
Well, there's no half-eaten bean burrito next to it either, depending on the store you're in.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But no, it's hard to scale that. It's a hard work, but you can find some absolute incredible treasures. Thrift shopping, dumpster diving, I imagine it's be a little harder because at one point somebody just figured out it's not just that I don't want this anymore. I need to get rid of it, but this is garbage. And I'm going to throw it out. And
junk,
metal, scrap metal, recycling, huge thing. That's one of the big things for dumpster diving. We look at construction sites where they're gutting the building and they're putting in all new wiring, and they'll just pull all the wires and throw it in the dumpster. And somebody with a wire stripper that'll take the plastic sheeting off will pull that copper can sell for a pretty penny. You can score hundreds of dollars worth of copper from a construction site in the garbage.
Or steal it from businesses like many are doing right now.
I would he's not with us, YouTube. He's not with us. I'm not with me. He's on his own. But yeah, I would say I would not recommend dumpster diving because first of all, it's dangerous. It's not safe to get in a dumpster.
Agreed.
Because when you're in the dumpster, the truck can come, and it's happened, and it's tragic. So the dumpster divers that I've seen, they park right in front of the dumpster so the truck can't get it, just in case while they're in there, garbage man shows up on the daily rounds.
There's a technique.
I would say watch it. It's in the same class of thrift shopping and buying storage unit auctions.
Those intrigue me. Those intrigue me to a degree. You have to be in the right city.
Storage units are full of people's junk. This is literally stuff they don't want around their house, but they aren't able to emotionally separate themselves from it. Okay, so it's not like bagged garbage, but it's one step above. It's stuff they're never going to use, that they don't want anymore, and they don't want to see, and they're willing to pay a small fee to keep it out of their sight. So it's basically dumpster diving with a garage door.
I will say, I had before my wife and I met, the apartment I was living in, it was limited, so I bought a small storage unit, very small. I'm talking, I think it was a 5x5 square, and so I put what I could in there that I didn't want in my apartment. And then my wife and I met, and living situations ended up starting to gradually change and what have you. And I almost forgot about that little unit, that teeny little unit, which had a duffel bag of some older clothes I never wore, some old hockey jerseys of mine that were for memory only, worth zero money to anybody else. And I think a few car parts that I'd taken off my car to put other things on. But it had a brand new TaylorMade golf bag, Masters Edition, autographed by Sergio Garcia the year he won that Masters when he was with TaylorMade. That at the time was worth, I remember looking on eBay and seeing without signature, like $1,500, $2,000. So with his signature on it, for someone who really wanted it, probably a few grand. And it was sitting in that storage unit. Yeah. And I had forgotten that I even had it.
And you end up seeing in the newspaper your name next to a notice that your belongings were going to be auctioned off Saturday morning at 6 a.m. to the highest bidder. And you're like, wait.
So I ran down, got that bag, left everything else so I didn't have to haul it off. No. But no, yeah, I remember opening that and going, oh my gosh. And I used to watch Storage Wars, which I know there's some scripted stuff there and whatnot, but I watched some other YouTube guys that are big time fishermen, and they dabble in the storage bidding, and some of the stuff they find,
it's crazy.
It is, but they obviously don't show every time they just completely bust and they just blew $1,000 on junk. Yeah. So
it is definitely a gamble as well.
It reminds me.
I was going to say, of the three of doing dumpster diving, Storage Wars, or thrift shopping, I would recommend thrift shopping because you at least get to handle the merchandise first. You know the price. It's the lowest cost of entry, and it's the least smelly of the three.
This is true.
If you're interested in any of these, that's the one to start on.
This is true. The other one that intrigues me are the Amazon return pallets.
Oh,
Those are.
I've got a buddy in Atlanta who discovered those, and he started an entire chain of stores. Like I'm outing this company here. It's called Buggy Busters. That's his company. And he's and that's what they do. They buy these returns, the pallets and returns, and they buy in such volume that they're buying like all of a distribution center's returns. And they buy some from food stores, and so they'll bring some food in that's, like when Oreo makes like an off brand, and they're like, these are Coke Zero flavored Oreos, and they don't sell very well. He buys those and he ends up selling them, and he's got this markdown system where like on day 1 they sell for this much, and then it drops by like day 10 they're free, and so everything goes in the store, and it's constant turnover. But it's an amazing model. But he's basically doing that on a huge scale. He loves it. And people swear by it. They're like, this is their store.
That intrigues me. I want to buy one pallet just to see. And now I know it's luck of the draw, right? That's why you got to buy a lot of pallets to get some actual stuff. Some of it you actually kind of want for yourself, depending what it is, and others you just resell. And then another one you get's total junk. But I do want to buy one pallet one day and just see what's all over that.
Okay, but you have to live stream the opening. Set up a camera, live stream, set up in the garage, like invite the ducks so they can watch, feed the ducks, ducks in the background, and you pulling boxes out of the pallet.
There better be corn on that pallet if the ducks are coming. Oh man, that would be fun. Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to research that this weekend.
Do you have a location close to you? Because you usually have to pick it up. They don't deliver. If you have to have it shipped, usually the cost, you end up losing all your profit on shipping. So if you're able to go to a location and pick it up yourself, like if you got a pickup truck or something, that's where you're going to make the money.
Yeah, I could. There's one close enough to where we could go down there and do it. Okay, I'm going to research it this weekend. So I've got the time. What I was talking about with Scott earlier about, I hear the door from the garage to the house. So my wife and daughter, they're getting ready to hit the road. They're leaving for 5 days. They're going to Florida for my daughter's 15th birthday.
Party.
Yeah. So, big birthday trip for the gals. I would go, but I just came back from my trip, and then we've got our animals and what have you. So I'm staying. So I've got the whole from tonight, whenever they do leave, if they leave, I don't think they're going to leave now, but if they leave from tonight till Tuesday, I'm solo. So I have time to do some research.
How many rounds of golf have you scheduled tentatively for the next 5 days?
Actually, it's funny you say that, because I thought, when the trip was planned and I knew I would be back for mine, and then they were going, and I thought, oh man, I'm going to have all this time. And I thought, well, technically not. I'm doing the podcast Thursday. I still work on Friday. Friday evening, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself dinner with all the stuff I love that I know they don't enjoy. So I don't have to go through that. My normal golf Saturday morning. And I've just gone through the garage and the backyard of all the stuff I want to reorganize, change, clean, swap around, some stuff I'm going to haul off. I did threaten to host a garage. Now, I didn't tell Amanda. I told her dad. Sunday, I said, I'm going to have a garage sale with half her stuff. Yeah.
This never goes well.
He had my back. He had my back.
Oh, now with kids, you can usually say, look, if you don't clean your room, I'm bagging it all up and we're selling it at the garage sale on Saturday. That threat worked for me, because Friday night about 10 o'clock, I was starting to clean that room because I didn't want my stuff sold. But I'd be a little cautious with the wife.
Our daughter doesn't have that much stuff. It's my wife. So I think there's enough. That
she might be like, well, I'm getting rid of your Halloween decorations.
No, because she loves those as much as I do. She's the one that urged us to hurry up and order it all before Lowe's ran out. So what Scott's referring to is we went ahead and ordered the 16-foot tall skeletons and witches.
Upgraded the neighborhood display.
We did, and the box came in
months ago, right? What was this? January, February? When did you buy the?
No. I sent you the picture. I texted the picture 3 weeks ago, I think, of the boxes that came in. And he's, oh, you start to decorate early. No. We got them in. In fact, last night we hauled them over to our shop away out of our garage to stay until, I don't know. I might go pick them up this weekend and get to work on it. No, I'm just kidding. It'll be end of September. That's when we'll do it.
Oh man. Yeah. I still need to take down my Christmas lights. That's where I'm at. So at this point, we're closer to Christmas than we are farther away from it. And I'm thinking, should I really take them down?
No. In fact, Scott texted me, I think in June, he was sitting on his porch and said, my lights are still up. Thought I'd share. And I replied with, I'm just glad you even put them up.
That as a win, right?
Oh, I love the holidays. I love decorating for them. I didn't as a kid. I didn't care, but my wife loves to do it too. So I get excited. So we're all in. So we start wasting all our money on decorations. And oh, look at Roy.
I'll come over and help. Hey,
he'll be part of the live stream.
Quick, screenshot that one. You might need that later.
I got
it. You a bill. You're like, no, you said you'd come over.
I got it.
Did you see? Let's see, who was it that said this?
I just got my message.
Okay, you need to run.
I gotta say my goodbyes, and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, so I will stall. While Thomas is gone, I was just seeing somebody. Yes, thank you. Catherine was saying, I'm a data analyst for Home Depot. That skeleton is something else. I love all the different characters they make with it. I'm cool with the decorations. That's all awesome, but the data analyst side, I have questions. Are you like big data? Can you like predict how and when customers are going to buy things? Because I mean, that data is out there, and I know AI is super smart. Let's see. Leave the Christmas lights up. Leave the banjo music recording running in the background. I don't even know if my house is standing. I kid you not. I do not know if I have a house right now back in North Carolina, because all day long we've been getting tornado warnings and tornado watches. The tornado warning is like, hey, warning, there might be some bad weather. Tornado watch is like, well, if you look out your window now, you're going to see it. And we've been getting those all day long. I've got a news company is reaching out to me because they know where I'm based, and they keep offering more and more money for me to go outside my front door and film the flash flood. I assume there's a flash flood there. I have not heard from my Airbnb renters. They have not unlocked or locked the door in probably 20 hours. And I need to call my neighbor. And just say, hey, do we both still have houses? That's it. And are my Christmas lights okay? That's what I need to find out. The new pole might be on the ground. I'm glad they replaced it before the storm came, because we had huge winds, and I think we got like over 10 inches of rain just overnight. It was crazy. Probably the worst storm that has come through that area since I bought the house, since I moved to North Carolina. So fingers crossed that everything is working great and we have a house. What about the cat? We've taken care of the cat. The cat's fine. The cat also has another family that also takes care of the cat full time. So between the two of us, we are good. We're good. Let's see. Concord, North Carolina got flooded. Oh man. Alita Lay made it home safe. Alita was live with us up in Park City. She showed up, beat me to Park City for the Quarry Richlands Trail. Which, if you missed that, we had all sorts of issues on the first video, so we've loaded the full high definition stream without my commentary. I think it's about 30-40 minutes long. We've got that loaded up on the channel. If you go back to the previous lives, you'll see Quarry Richlands on there. So check that out. We may talk about that tomorrow morning. Watch that together just for a little bit and sort of tear apart what happened. But Pickles has a raft. He's fine. Let's see. There's a big giant tree uprooted a few houses up from me from the last storm. 5 days of rain in Georgia. Oh man. Let's see. Tornado watch is weather favorable for tornadoes. Tornado warning has been the one I spotted, though. That's what I'm told. All I know is that we had radar confirmed on the ground. We had the full gamut of tornadoes. We had both warnings and watches. Someone died from the storm in North. Oh my goodness, that is sad. Bad flooding in North Carolina. That's what we left. I have a sump pump that is located outside my house, but plugged in inside my house. And it likes to spit out the connector that the pipe where it pumps the water out into the drain. That sump, if it blows that gasket, if it spits that pipe out, my entire basement is going to fill up with water. So my backup power generator, dual fuel, gasoline, natural gas generator, chainsaws, all my power tools, a lot of personal mementos, journals, things like that. My furnace that I just barely fixed, water heater, and all my Christmas decorations are down there, and that's what's going to flood. But the rest of my house, it can't go up to like the first floor. That's just I've got like a dug up basement that's dried in, and it would flood all that. The first floor is going to be fine. It's the high ground in town. Everything else will flood before my house does. I will call and have my neighbor check it out. Maybe tomorrow, because he goes to bed early. I'm in my Airbnb. Look like the hallway in a business. Let me show you, Roy. Hang on. This is directly behind me. That's the bed, and there's the window. So we've got a park outside. That's where we play volleyball and basketball.
You're not even in Park City.
No. And way, way up here, you can't even see it, but way up here, there are mountains. There's you can almost see mountains up there. Really, that's just looking at inversion. There's a bug that just flew by.
Thursday morning, we got to see the mountains. They were there. Your first morning in town.
Yeah. But this is probably the nicest house I've ever been in. It's much nicer than the one I have in North Carolina. We have it's ridiculous. We have 3 bathrooms, and the theater, movie room, and dining, full kitchen, bedrooms everywhere. There's like TVs all over the house. Like every single room has TVs. It's very, very nice. Hot
bidet?
tub. No bidets. We struck out on the bidets.
How about a hot tub?
Hot tub is basically a bit. No, never mind. On that note,
I made it just in time for the outro.
let's see if we can play some music. Clip that part out. Oh my goodness! It has been a week and a half. Seriously, it's been a long trip. It's good to be back, Tom. I'm glad you're back as well.
I'm so glad you're able to stream from the road. It was, the podcast is a lot of fun, and every once in a while we have to take our weeks off. It kind of throws you for a loop. I didn't remember what episode, where we are, what we're doing, and so it's fun to be back to hang out and chit chat.
I did the hard part, and I made the thumbnail. And you did all the work to make the rundown, gathered all the stories, prepped everything. So I'm glad we're a team here, equally splitting the workload as it may be. But no, it's I'm loving it here. It's awesome. I'm looking forward. We're probably going to get to see a couple people. We've got the Corey Richens trial that is the hearing. This is where they decide if they're going to move forward with this case and proceed. It's a 3-day hearing. Happens right the 26th, 27th, 28th of August. I'll be there for that. On that, we're going to be recording it live and making it go live as soon as the hearing is over for those ones. So it's not, we won't be able to do live commentary or live stream of the actual hearing. So that's how that one's going to go. But we'll get it all figured out. We've got a month.
What's your plan for tomorrow, Friday?
I'm going to be live streaming. We're going to start with Corey Richens. Judge Boyd still has not got a sentencing verdict in that case. She just barely sent the jury home. And they're coming back again tomorrow, I think. So it's going to be fun. We're going to probably do some court hopping. We do have a court case starting. I think it's Tullis. Tullis starts in Las Vegas on Monday. Tullis. So we've got that. I'm heading back to North Carolina in September. I think we'll be back September 14th.
Cool.
So it's a long trip. Lots of family, lots of friends, lots of fun, lots of driving. So I'm going to be careful with my wallet, not set it on top of the car because there's seagulls here and they've been eyeing it. I'm going to give it that narrow look, So
they can have mine. There's nothing in it. On that note, I'm going to go see what trouble I can get into because now I'm solo, which means I'm going to grab a bite to eat and go to sleep early.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thomas, everyone's been great. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.
Bye, everybody.